So you did it. You did it. You built that emergency fund. That's so awesome. Doesn't it feel empowering to have that money sitting in that account? But maybe you've tapped into it a few times because you've sacrificed, you saved, and now that you have this financial shield, 3, maybe even 6 months of living expenses, that's huge. Seriously, most people never get there because here's the problem. The way they're storing their money is quietly costing them. Inflation is eating away at its value, and that old school savings account isn't cutting it. So today I'm going to show you a smarter 3-tier strategy that keeps your money safe, instantly accessible, and actually growing. By the end, you'll know how to turn your stash of cash into a dynamic financial tool. Quick question for you. How many months of expenses do you have saved right now? Comment below. I would love to hear what everyone has to say. And let me tell you why this matters. Years ago, I dipped into my emergency fund for dinner. Yeah, I had built 3 months of expenses and the account just sat there. And I didn't really feel like it was real. Like I could just use that money for whatever I wanted. So I dipped into it to go to dinner. And then my car broke down and the money wasn't there. And that's when it clicked. The problem wasn't saving, it was structure. Once I renamed the account Car Repair Fund, it became real, untouchable, and it worked. That's the power of giving money a clear purpose. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. Think about your emergency fund. The real enemy of it isn't the fact that you have emergencies, it's inflation. So right now, a traditional savings account pays around 0.01%. On $20,000, that's literally a couple dollars a year. Meanwhile, inflation is increasing between 3 to 4%. So here's the key. You don't have to choose between safety and growth. The 3-tier system gives you both. So here's tier 1. Think about break the glass in case of emergency. Keep 1 month of bare bone expenses there. This is your 4 walls. Your housing, transportation, clothing, food. This should live in a checking or a savings account at your main bank, separate from daily spending. I recommend a savings account that's easily accessible. I love online banking. Putting it in a high yield savings account online with Bask or Discover are one of my 2 favorites. And connecting your personal checking account so you can quickly transfer the money is ideal. And you want to label it clearly. If you label it emergency fund, you might just use it for anything. But if you specify this is 1 month's of living expenses, that will help you identify when you go to use that money exactly what to use it for. And you can even separate this out further. The car repair fund, when I changed my emergency fund to specify what exactly was in there, all the needs that I had, the car repairs, the house repairs, and allocated each fund on a dollar amount, I was able to quickly and clearly see how much money I had allocated for each expense. So the point here isn't interest, it's speed. You need the money accessible in 60 seconds if the water heater blows at 10 p.m. So would 1 month of instant cash feel like enough for you, or would you want 2? Drop your answer in the comments. I'm curious. The money to buy it. Tier 2. The growth engine. This is where most of our emergency fund lives. 2 to 4 months of expenses. Now, I recommend 6 months of expenses, and I'll tell you why. I retired from the Social Security Administration, and if you are not able to work, you have a 5-month waiting period before you can start collecting disability. What are you going to do in the meantime? It's really important to have 6 months. But if you can't do 6 months, work yourself up to it. Start with the 2, go to the 4, get to the 6. So the goal here is fighting inflation without sacrificing safety. The best tools are the high yield savings account online. Right now, they're paying around 4.5% versus an in person, a local bank is only paying that 0.10%. So, for example, if you have $20,000 in your local bank, you're going to earn $1. If you have it in a high yield savings account online, you can earn at 4.35%. You can earn $870. Yes, please. So who here wants to earn 4%? Hit the like button. What you want to look for in a high yield savings account is 3 things: a high annual percentage rate, no fees, and low minimums. Most online banks don't even require you to have a minimum deposit. The final tier is the inflation shield. This is 1 to 2 months of expenses or any extra beyond the 6 months. So, say you're implementing the money multiplier system and you're setting aside 10% of all the income that you have coming in towards savings. You build up that emergency fund, you have the 6 months in there, you have more. So now you have excess. You can allocate tier 3 to help grow your money. The goal here is to beat inflation long term. And the trade off, it's less liquid. So only touch this for prolonged emergencies like job loss. And there's two great options: bonds and certificate deposits. Both usually lock in. So, for example, if you want to buy an I bond, you would go through the US Treasury, you'd lock in for 1 year. Right now, the rates are around 3.8%. And if you want to draw early, there is a penalty. Certificate deposit, same thing. You can get a certificate deposit for anywhere from 3 to 18, 24 months. Really look at those rates and think what would be the best. Most I've found optimal is like 12 months and 4.5% interest. So you can keep your money growing while it's still nearby. It's not locked up in the stock market or in real estate or something like that. It's still easily accessible for you. And then this gives you that safety net while it's still beating inflation. And it allows you to have that flexibility. So what we like to do in my house is have a diversified portfolio where we have a percentage in our retirement and investment accounts. Then we have certificate deposits, and we have our cold cash savings accounts, and then we have our money buckets. It's earmarked the emergency fund, but within that emergency fund, we have things specified for house repairs, replacing appliances, things of that nature. And when you give every dollar a job, when you name exactly what you're going to do with your money, this gives you flexibility. It gives you that sense of peace, and it allows you to split your money into different places so that it's constantly growing for you. And you may have heard of CD stackers, and this is exactly what you could do. So every 3 months or every month, however you want to, you buy another CD so that your money's always growing. And it's so much fun to look at that interest and say, woohoo, look at all the money I made. And the way this way you can earn strong returns without locking everything up all at once. And so when you think about building that shield, now you get to maintain it. The first thing is to define emergencies clearly. Unexpected, necessary, urgent. Car repair, yes. Refrigerator, yes. New phone, no. Dinner, no. And automate the contributions. Even $50 a month will keep the fund growing. Replenish immediately. As soon as you use that money, put it back. Pay yourself back. And then look at it monthly. Review the expenses. Be sure you have enough money to cover that emergency, and make sure your fund still covers what you need. So here's the recap. Tier 1, 1 month of essentials, easy access. Tier 2, 2 to 4 months in a high yield savings account or money market for real growth. And Tier 3, 1 to 2 months in a I bond or a certificate of deposit to help beat inflation. So you've done the hard part, saving. Now it's time to make your money grow smarter, safer, and stronger. Which are you going to set up first? Comment below. And if this was helpful, hit the and subscribe button and share it with someone who needs to hear it. And stay tuned for the next video where we'll cover multiplying your money. Because the truth is, emergencies will come. The question is, will you be ready? I learned the hard way when I blew through my emergency fund on dinner. But with this 3-tier system, you'll never have that problem. Your money will be protected, growing, and always be ready for when a real emergency hits. Because remember, it doesn't matter how much money you have, it's what you do with it.